Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to the Den of the Drake. Other dragons hoard gold, while I hoard internet cringe. You know what I just can't wrap my head around? People who think that D&D is just gonna magically solve all their problems. I mean, seriously, if I had a nickel for every time someone thought D&D was a replacement for therapy, I would—
Ahem.
What?
You forgot our appointment.
Can it wait? I'm trying to record a video.
You promised me, Drake. Look, all you gotta do is sit through their little timeshare spiel and we get a free trip to Fiji. I can go drink pina coladas on the beach and you can go run off and do whatever weird Drake things you like to do in foreign countries.
Okay, but did it have to be right now?
Drake, in the short time I've been working for you, I have been humiliated, kidnapped, drowned, mauled, shot, and launched into space. You owe me this.
Okay, class. If we could all turn to page 246 in your textbooks, please. Thank you.
That guy look familiar to you?
Shh! Professor Death Knight here with a lesson about Live Arena, the new PvP mode where you can fight against other players in real time. Sounds terrifying? Well, so's going to the dentist. You should still do it.
I knew this guy was familiar, you lying little bastard. This isn't a timeshare spiel, this is a Raid Shadow Legends ad. Yeah, quit your whining. It'll still bag us a trip to Fiji. Last time we dealt with a Raid Shadow Legends sponsor, Ronda Rousey put my head through a wall. I'm gonna put your head through a wall if you don't shut up.
Live Arena has a draft feature where you can pick and ban champions to fight for you. Teamwork. When you win matches, you'll get Live Arena crests towards unlocking special area bonuses, or so I hear. I'm too afraid to try any of this out. Armed with this information, I'm sure you'll get an A+. If that's how we graded Live Arena, which we don't. All right, any questions?
Will Live Arena bring my dad back?
Nope.
Drake, take this seriously.
I'm as serious as a heart attack, little buddy. So, Professor Dark Knight.
Death Knight.
Deck Knife. Okay, I gotta ask, what's with the little green lady you just got, chilling on your desk there?
Yeah, I'm actually curious about that too.
I would never.
That wasn't our question.
I would never do that. No.
Larry, I want to go home.
I hope you use this knowledge you've gained here today about Live Arena to head off and do battle. Live! Make this whole Dead Bones Professor proud, folks. Class dismissed. Do we have a bell? Oh, we should totally get a bell.
Thank you, Mr. Death Knight. So, who do we talk to about the vacation?
What was that?
The trip to Fiji. It says right there on the flyer that if we sit through your talk, then we get an all-expense paid vacation from you guys.
I love the fire, but that's not right.
Not right? What do you mean it's not right?
Wow. All right, love the energy. Don't know what you wanted, but I'll definitely, think about it. Does anyone else have any questions? No? Great. All right, moving on.
Oh, no, you don't. You people don't get to weasel out of this.
Larry, calm down, man.
You mean to tell me, Mr. Death Knight, that I just wasted my day off and forced myself to hang out with the one person who brings me more misery than anyone else on Earth?
Aw, buddy, that's so sweet.
Just so I can listen to your stupid ramblings about Raid Shadow Legends' new Live Arena mode, and I don't even get a vacation out of it.
That's 100% correct.
All right, time to find out if I can go to prison for killing a dead guy.
Larry, no!
Okay, so in hindsight, that might have been a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, but look on the bright side. You got tons of time to play Raid Shadow Legends. Are you looking for a new challenge in Raid Shadow Legends? Well, you're in luck. They've just added a fearsome new boss, Akamuri the Phantom Shogun. This undead general is guarding everything you need for Accessory Ascension, a new feature that allows you to upgrade your gear to even greater heights. And if you've managed to miss out on the incredible animated series Raid Call of the Arbiter, then you can check out all 10 episodes on the official Raid Shadow Legends YouTube channel now. If you haven't started playing Raid, use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We're talking the epic champion Knight Errant, and tons of other badass stuff to get you right into the game. All you gotta do is hit the link in my description or scan my QR code, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Well, I guess all of this video's ad revenue is going towards posting Larry's bail. He can never say that I don't do anything for him. Now on to what you all came to hear. The story I have for you today stars a player who is so in love with himself that he thinks that all the world should be shown just how good at D&D he is. And the fat helping of reality that gets served up to him when he realizes that just because you have a webcam and some dice does not make you Matt Mercer. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive right into the horrifying world of r/RPG horror stories. Enjoy. This week's story comes from Reddit user Blademaster Fedora and is titled When a Narcissist Tried to Start a Stream at My LGS. The characters are, not their actual names of course, Joey the streamer, the owner, and yours truly. Back in my college days, I used to frequent the LGS in my city to play Magic. One day, the owner approached me and asked if I was interested in playing a D&D homebrew mini-campaign meant for beginners. I agreed. The DM was a guy named Joey. At this point, I had only ever played 3 sessions of Lost Mine of Phandelver. So there was a session 0 for character creation, and I decided to play a Wood Elf Druid. We played session 1 a week later, and it was alright. Even though I thought it was kinda weird that he did all the narration while his fiancée did literally everything else. But hey, to each their own, I guess. I couldn't make it to session 2 since I was busy with a few term papers and work. So I approached Joey about this. He assured me that his fiancée and her best friend would run the same campaign again next week. They also assured me that they were going to do D&D now every Wednesday. So the next Wednesday rolled around and no sight of the fiancée, her friend, or Joey for that matter. So I asked the owner if they canceled. He just shrugged. I'm telling the story because it's a red flag for later. I got really bummed out by that since I had a ton of fun playing D&D. So when my next paycheck rolled around, I decided to start DMing myself. I DM'd every Wednesday at the LGS until the virus of unknown origins hit. I met a lot of really cool people through that, with whom I am still friends to this day, even after I moved across the country. Cut to a few months later, and Joey started hanging out at the store again. He mostly did that on Wednesdays before my campaign. One day in summer, he announced that he was going to run a one-shot. The players were meant to be determined by chance. Weirdly enough, 4 out of the 6 player spots were occupied by Joey's friends. The 5th one was the owner's daughter for some reason. So basically, only 1 person got in by chance. It was supposed to be played with pre-written characters that were meant to be Disney princesses. As the store DM, I was invited to play, but I respectfully declined, since I didn't get along with a few of Joey's friends. I didn't hate them, but they were just the kind of people I didn't want to be at the same table with. One of them was a power gamer and always had a patronizing tone when speaking to you. Imagine the tone that some people take when they explain something to a child. After the one-shot, which was definitely politically relevant because it had jokes about the MacGuffins being called Epstein and Weinstein, the owner's daughter approached Joey and said,
Wow, that was so fun. You should start streaming D&D.
Joey and his fiancée were completely hooked on the idea. Joey wanted it to be, you guessed it, the next Critical Role. So they asked the owner if they could use the store for streaming, to which he agreed to do if they managed to get a test stream going. The owner got burned badly on something similar before, which led to him basically throwing away $3,000. The problem with Joey is that he is not a great DM. I had a few conversations with him about his D&D philosophy, which is basically if you have players that act like crap, that means that you haven't given them enough loot. So next time you have shitty players at your table, enable them. Oof. Yeah, I know I've complained about Critical Role and its consequences on the TTRPG space before, but I don't think I've ever talked about how streaming games changes the dynamic of the game. All you gotta do is look at the first episode of Critical Role versus the latest one to see the difference between regular D&D and D&D played for an audience. That shit is more sterilized than Mark Zuckerberg. D&D when played for yourself is a game. D&D when played for an audience is a performance. Now, I will say that I don't have any experience with actually streaming D&D, but I have been in 3 pre-recorded games before. Those being Dice Goblins Campaign 1, Dice Goblins Campaign 2, and Crispy's Tavern's Shadow over Carconos. Go watch those, by the way. They're the best D&D sessions on YouTube because I'm in them. Anyway, I can't tell you how much post-game work those sessions actually were. When you're recording a game with me in it, you gotta have some good post-production software ready. Because I populate the game with so much goblin energy that I would get everyone blacklisted from the internet if it was published unedited. Jokes aside, even in a pre-recorded game, there was an expectation that you were supposed to be the right amount of entertaining. Every action you do in character is supposed to have value of some kind because you're not playing the game for yourself or even anyone else at the table. You're playing it for the potential thousands of eyes and ears glued to every action performed and sentence uttered. And if that sentence doesn't communicate exactly what streaming your D&D game entails, I don't know what will. Funnily enough, I've actually been doing a lot of research into exactly what goes into building a media empire like what Joey wants to build here. And let me tell ya, I don't think Joey stands a snowball's chance in hell. But the worst part was his world building. I will call his setting Joey's World. The actual name was the name of a French sci-fi comic series, but one letter was changed. Nothing from this setting was original in any sort of way. Usually I have no problem with that, but please bear with me. He stole a bunch of stuff from 5 ebooks, including names. He had a country named Tetheria, Forgotten Realms as Tather, for example, which is literally just Beauclair from The Witcher 3. But there are also places like the Dune Desert and the Ice Mountains. He also combined some of the Eberron and Forgotten Realms into one for his creation myth. Instead of Eberron and Khyber, it was Tiamat and Bahamut. He also thought it was brilliant that he put Phandalin in his world as the starting town. So Joey's world was basically as original as Sonichu. Joey and his fiancée then wrote a business plan and proof of concept rolled into one. If you have a business, you know that this is a complicated thing. You have to write out stuff like business expenses and such. Something like this should take you about 30 to 40 pages, I guess. According to the owner, it was written on 3 pages of a school notebook. By the way, they refused to show this to anyone but the owner. So according to the owner, the business plan had nothing about income or expenses on it. Just short, mid, and long-term goals for their project. So it was basically 1. Start streaming. 2. 3. Profit. Their concept was also interesting. They wanted to start something called a communal art project. So Joey wanted a bunch of minions to do literally all of his work. I know Critical Role has people working behind the scenes, but at least they get paid. So Joey just wanted to pay people in exposure. Mind you, the people in there were writers, translators, ZMs, me included, and artists. All these people were just meant to do Joey's work while he gets to sit on his ass every Friday and just play the game, while taking credit for other people's work. And everything that was created in the project would also belong to him. This is where the trouble begins. First of all, Joey gets it in his head that he wants everything that goes on in the store to be under his control. Yes, everything. We had a few dudes who had their own YouTube to review the latest Warhammer stuff. They didn't even know about their luck. They were supposed to be part of his network now. He wanted to own literally any piece of internet media that would be produced in the store. He called it the streaming monopoly. During all this, Joey also had started doing what he called a stream preparation campaign, which was basically meant as a prequel for the entire campaign. It featured an act of magical terrorism enacted by a group consisting only of Dragonborn. His idea was to create a portrait of a society of persecution and discrimination. Considering his DM style, this could have been insanely risky. They also gave each of the players strict character creation rules to prevent weird furry stuff, since this is a serious campaign that deals with serious topics. Also, his fiancée was going to be one of the players in the stream campaign. He told me how proud he was of her character concept, a half ASMR, half tiefling assassin rogue. For him, it was an incredibly deep character concept since it was dualistic. This could have easily turned into another spousal fanfic horror story all by itself. My Wednesdays of LGS DMing were all supposed to be homebrewed and take place in Joey's world. Because once we start streaming, I, as the store's DM, will be the public face of the streaming campaign. Dude legitimately thought that after we started streaming, people would go crazy and do something like a Beatles mania kind of thing. He also wanted me to be his co-author, which I declined since I was still very busy with college, and I was glad that I noped out of there early. Mind you, at this point, he didn't have any of the necessary equipment to start streaming. That means no lighting, no sound, and more important, no cameras. The store also had a Discord where the Joey's World project was discussed. Joey started posting work requests on it, requesting that the team of writers change the names of all the places in his setting. Right after that was done, he deleted everything that might hint at someone else being involved in the name creation. That's when they first started seeing the red flags. His power gamer friend was the first one to confront him about that. Joey just said, "Yeah, I deleted it because, that work step is done. I don't want anyone to steal my setting before I can publish it in a book." And then the bickering started. The room that the owner set aside for the stream was to be cleared out of old furniture. I helped anyway, since again, the owner is a good friend of mine. Joey said that he was going to be there to start the stream. The only other person that showed up was the power gamer. The power gamer was understandably really pissed after that. I don't know all the details since I mostly prefer to stay out of the drama. At the end of 2019, Joey put the entire campaign on ice because of creative differences. Early 2020, Power Gamer dropped out of the project. Joey used this as an excuse to save face and also cancel the entire project. He claimed that Power Gamer was trying to sabotage the project because he didn't get to be a player on the stream. My theory? Joey must have realized that equipment is really expensive and preparing something like this takes a lot of time, which he didn't have since he also had to study for his final college exams. But he managed to throw Power Gamer under the bus, blaming the failure of the entire project on him alone. Power Gamer might have not have been the nicest guy, but he didn't deserve that. This failed attempt at streaming destroyed a lot of friendships at the store and turned Joey into a laughingstock. Joey would contact me a few months later after trying to pawn off his old group on me, with whom he also got into a fight. He lovingly referred to them as a bunch of min-maxers. I'm just glad that my Wednesday group survived. End of story. This story pained me on a spiritual level. So, fun fact about me, I actually have a graduate degree in a creative field, and I've worked professionally in said field. And now I'm using that education and experience to be a dragon on the internet. Trust me when I say that my parents are really proud. Anyway, I've met more than a fair share of Joeys in my professional life, and let me tell you, they're all the same. If you've ever worked in a self-startup creative project before, I guarantee that you've met a Joey before. These creative narcissists are the kind of people who promote themselves to management, which is basically their own built-in justification to act like they own you. Rule number 1 of management, by the way, the people you hired, and I'm putting hired in air quotes here, because it's very rare for people like Joey to do any actual hiring, you hired for a reason. Guide them towards a goal, but don't do their jobs for them. The reason why you hire an artist is to do art. The reason why you hire an audio engineer is to do audio engineering. The reason why you hire an HR lady is for when the artist starts crying. You get the idea. People like Joey let their creative vision steer every interaction with people who are supposed to be helping them make that creative vision a reality, despite having no real authority to do so. Oftentimes, the Joey isn't actually all that talented themselves, so they try to get other people to bring the vision that they have in their brain to life, whether it's actually a good vision or not. They go into every interaction thinking, how can I use you to get what I want? They aren't there to create, they're there to dominate. Doma-create, if you will. If a Joey approaches you with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, run the fuck away, because it's only gonna waste your time and possibly your money. Can you guys tell that I have an axe to grind with creative narcissists? Because I'm not sure if I'm making it obvious enough. Maybe it's because I don't like the competition. Speaking of things living rent-free in my brain, we have a fan art submission this week. That's right, how about we take a look at this week's Gallery of the Drake? This week's fan art comes from viewer Treeweenie and depicts some quality time being shared between boss and employee. We can just ignore the fact that Larry's crying, that's just how he shows affection. With Larry freshly out of prison, I thought it would be nice to spend some quality time with my best friend. Oh, you weren't kidding. This is some hard-hitting stuff. You really got the hookup from your cellmate. Larry, you good, buddy? You took a pretty big hit there.
Drake, I'm tripping real hard, man. Where the fuck are my arms?
Thank you again, Treeweenie, for submitting your art. If you'd like to see your fan art featured in Gallery of the Drake, be sure to send it to the email in my About section. Fan art is my favorite part of doing YouTube, and it means the world to me that I can create content that inspires artists like you to create artwork like this. With the story over and artwork displayed, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you feel like supporting the channel further, my Patreon and merchandise links are in the description. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you next time in the Den of the Drake. Oh yeah, remember to use the QR code or link in the description to download Raid, because Death Knight is pressing charges and Larry's gonna need a lawyer.